Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Maharaj's message is your advantage. The following is a Sri Krishna Chaitanya book compilation given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on December 28th, 2021 in Sri Mayapur, India.
Bangun langayate girim
Mande
Sri Gurum Dinatharinam
Bhagavanandamalavam
Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram
Hare Om Tat Sat.
Hari Om.
Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from the Sri Krishna Chaitanya compilation class, and today's chapter is entitled as Explanation, where the meaning of the word Atma in Atma Rama is Deha. Under the section, the 61 explanations of the Atma Rama verse, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 24, text 211.
আত্মা রামাহা পদের অন্তর্গত আত্মা শব্দের দেহ অর্থে ব্যাখ্যা। এই 19 অর্থ করিলু আগে শুনো আর, আত্ম শব্দে দেহ কহে চারি অর্থ তার।
I have already explained 19 different meanings. Now please hear further meanings. The word Atma also refers to the body, and this can be taken in 4 ways. Purport. The 4 divisions of meanings of the word Deha, body, are 1. Upadika Brahma Deha, the material body considered as Brahman with designations. Vide verse 212. 2. Karma Nishta Yagnikera Karma Deha, the body engaged in ritualistic ceremonies of the Vedic injunctions. Vide verse 214. 3. Tapo Deha, the body engaged in austerities and penances. Vide verse 216. And 4. Sarva Kama Deha, the body engaged for the satisfaction of all kinds of material desires. Vide verse 218.
So, 4 different kinds of bodies are mentioned.
So 4 different kinds of bodies are mentioned.
Those will be explained further on.
Those will be explained further on.
And in the Atma Rama, one meaning of Atma could be body.
And in the Atma Rama, one meaning of Atma can mean body.
So, Lord Chaitanya is advising about that.
So Lord Chaitanya is advising about that. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 24, text 212.
সাধু সঙ্গ ফলে দেহাত্ম বুদ্ধি বা বিবর্তবাদীরও বিবর্ত বুদ্ধি থেকে কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি লাভ। দেহারামি দেহে ভজে দেহ উপাধি ব্রহ্ম, সৎসঙ্গে সেহ করে কৃষ্ণের অভজন।
One in the bodily conception worships his own body as Brahman, but when he comes in contact with a devotee, he gives up this mistaken idea and engages himself in the devotional service of Lord Krishna.
Our body can be utilized in the service of Lord Krishna.
The body can be utilized in the service of Lord Krishna.
And thus the body becomes spiritualized.
And thus the body becomes spiritualized. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 24.213.
শ্রীমদ্ ভাগবতের দশম স্কন্ধের 87 অধ্যায়ের 18 শ্লোকে রয়েছে,
Taram upasate yad rishi vatmashu turpadrisha परिसरपदितिं हृदयम् आरुणयोदहरम् तत उदगादनन्त तव दामसीरपरमम् पुनरिह यत्समेत्य न पतन्ति कृतान्तमुखे.
Those who follow the path of great saintly mystic yogis take to the yogic gymnastic process and begin worshipping from the abdomen where it is said that Brahman is located. Such people are called Sharkaraksha, which means that they are situated in the gross bodily conception. They are also followers of the Rishi known as Aruna. Following his path, they observe the activities of the arteries. Thus, they gradually rise to the heart, where subtle Brahman Paramatma is situated. They then worship him. O unlimited Ananta, better than these persons are the mystic yogis who worship you from the top of their heads, beginning with the abdomen and proceeding through the heart. They reach to the top of the head and pass through the Brahma Randra, the hole at the top of the skull. Thus, these yogis attain the perfectional platform and do not enter the cycle of birth and death again. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 87, Text 18.
So different standards of yogis are described in this verse.
So different standards of yogis are described in this verse.
And mystic yogi who rises the light air up to the top of the head.
And the mystic yogi who rises the life air up to the top of his head.
And leaves by the hole in the head.
And leaves by the hole in the head.
Of Brahma Randra.
Brahma Randra.
Is considered the best of all the mystic yogis.
Is considered the best of all the mystic yogis.
Because he doesn't have to re-enter a cycle of birth and death.
Because he doesn't have to re-enter into the cycle of birth and death. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, Chapter 24, Text 214.
সাধু সঙ্গ ফলে দেহ আরামী কর্মীরও কর্মত্যাগে শুদ্ধ ভক্তি লাভ। দেহারামী কর্মনিষ্ঠ যাজ্ঞিক আদিজন সৎসঙ্গে কর্ম তেজি করয়ে ভজন।
Those who are in the bodily conception mainly engaged in fruitive activity, those who perform yagyas and ritualistic ceremonies are also considered in the same category. However, when such persons come in contact with the pure devotee, they give up their fruitive activity and fully engage in the service of the Lord.
Normally, people in the material conception that I am the body.
Normally, people in the material conception that I am the body.
And if they perform ritualistic ceremonies or yagyas to gain sense gratification.
And if they perform some ceremony or ritualistic yagyas to gain some sense gratification.
It is considered that they are mostly bodily conscious.
It is considered that they are mostly bodily conscious.
But if they need a pure devotee of the Lord, then they may perform pure devotional service.
But if they need a pure devotee of the Lord, then they may perform pure devotional service.
To Lord Krishna.
To Lord Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, Chapter 24, Text 215.
শৌনক আদির কর্মকাণ্ড নিন্দা এবং শ্রী সুতের হরিকথা কীর্তন প্রবৃত্তির প্রশংসা। শ্রীমদ্ ভাগবতের প্রথম স্কন্ধের অষ্টাদশ অধ্যায়ের দ্বাদশ শ্লোকে রয়েছে
कर्मण्यस्मिन्ननास्वासे धूमधूम्रात्मनां भवान् आपाययति गोविन्दा पादपद्मासवं मधु.
We have just begun performing this fruitive activity, a sacrificial fire, but due to the many imperfections in our action, we are not certain of its result. Our bodies have become black from the smoke, but we are factually pleased by the nectar of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, Govinda, which you are distributing. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, Text 12, was spoken to Sukadev Goswami Sutta Goswami at the meeting of great sages at Naimisharanya. The great sages were headed by Shonaka, and Sutta Goswami was speaking of the glorious activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead at that meeting. At that time, all the rishis assembled there neglected to complete their ritualistic ceremonies because there was no positive assurance of the results. All the performers were coated with black ash due to the large amount of smoke coming from the fire.
Ritualistic ceremonies and similar fire sacrifices
Ritualistic ceremonies and similar fire sacrifices
to obtain material benefits are considered insignificant by the sages over appreciating the glories of the Supreme Lord.
By the sages who are appreciating the glories of the Supreme Lord.
As heard from Sutta Goswami.
Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, Chapter 24, Text 216.
সাধু সঙ্গে দেহা আরামি তপস্বী বিষয়ীর তপস্যারূপ ভোগ ত্যাগে শুদ্ধ ভক্তি লাভ। তপস্বী প্রবৃত্তি যত দেহ আরামি হয়, সাধু সঙ্গে তপ ছাড়ি শ্রীকৃষ্ণ ভজয়।
The tapasvis, those who undergo severe austerities and penances to elevate themselves to the higher planetary systems, were also in the same category. When such persons come in contact with a devotee, they give up all those practices and engage in Lord Krishna's service.
People who use the body for engaging in austerities and penances
People who use their body for engaging in austerities and penances
elevate themselves to the higher planetary systems.
to elevate themselves to the higher planetary systems.
Without these activities and lead a pure devotee and engage in pure devotional service.
Give up these activities when they meet a pure devotee and engage in devotional service.
Good Lord Krishna.
Lord Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, Chapter 24, Text 217.
শাস্ত্র প্রমাণ চতুর্থ স্কন্দের 21 অধ্যায়ের 31 শ্লোকে রয়েছে
पादसेवाभिरुचिस्तपस्विनाम् अशेषजन्मोपचितं मलं धिया सद्यक्षिणोत्यन्वहं येदति सति यथा पदाङ्गुष्ठविनिःसृता सरीत्.
The taste for loving service is like the water of the river Ganges, which flows from the feet of Lord Krishna. Every day, that taste diminishes the results of sinful activities acquired over a period of many births by those who perform austerities. Purport. This is a quotation from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 21, Text 31.
So, Lord Chaitanya, he gives verses
So Lord Chaitanya gives verses
of different revealed scriptures
from different revealed scriptures
to back up the interpretation.
back up the interpretation.
He is not giving his own opinion.
He is not giving his own opinion.
He's presenting the conclusion in the scriptures.
He is presenting the conclusion in the scriptures. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, Chapter 24, Text 218.
কৃষ্ণ কৃপায় সকাম দেহ আরামিরও ত্যক্ত কাম বা নিষ্কাম হইয়া শুদ্ধ কৃষ্ণ ভজন। দেহ আরামি সর্বকাম সব আত্মারাম, কৃষ্ণ কৃপায় কৃষ্ণ ভজে ছাড়ি সব কাম।
As long as one labors under the bodily conception, he must fulfill volumes and volumes of material desires. Thus, a person is called Atmarama. When such an Atmarama is favored by the mercy of Krishna, he gives up his so-called self-satisfaction and engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord.
We see that a person in material body consciousness,
We see that a person in material body consciousness,
he has to satisfy unlimited desires from the senses.
he has to satisfy unlimited desires from the senses.
But if he meets a devotee of the Lord,
But if he meets a devotee of the Lord,
he may give up such material desires and serve the Lord in pure devotion.
he may give up such material desires and serve the Lord in devotion. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 24, text 219.
হরিভক্তি সুদুদয়ে ধ্রুবচরিতে 7:28 রয়েছে,
स्थानापिलासि तपसि स्थितोऽहं त्वां प्राप्तवान् देवमुनीन्द्रगुह्यं काचं विचिन्वन्नपि दिव्यरत्नं स्वामिन् कृतार्थोऽस्मि वरं न याचे.
When he was being blessed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Dhruva Maharaj said, "O my Lord, because I was seeking an opulent material position, I was performing severe types of penance and austerity. Now I have gotten you, who are very difficult for the great demigods, saintly persons, and kings to attain. I was searching after a piece of glass, but instead I have found a most valuable jewel. Therefore, I am so satisfied that I do not wish to ask any benediction from you." Purport. This verse is from the Hari Bhakti Sudadaya, chapter 7, text 28.
So, Dhruva Maharaj had originally desired some comfortable elevated position.
So, Dhruva Maharaj had originally desired some comfortable
Elevated position.
and elevated.
When he actually had darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
When he actually had darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
he took that as a much more valuable achievement.
he took that as a much more valuable achievement.
So this shows how approaching the Lord with some material desire can be transcended with devotional service.
So this shows how approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead for some material desire can be transcended. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 24, text 220.
এই পর্যন্ত 23 প্রকার অর্থ। এই চারি অর্থ সহ হইল 23 অর্থ, আর 3 অর্থ শোনো পরম সমর্থ।
In addition to the 19 meanings of the verse mentioned previously, there are these 4 further meanings when the word Atma Rama is taken to mean those laboring under the bodily conception. This brings the total of 23 now. Here of another 3 meanings which are very suitable. Purport. The 3 further meanings of the verse are understood when 1. The word cha is taken to mean in due course. 2. The word cha is taken to mean eva, and word api to mean censure. And 3. The word nirgrantha is taken to mean one who is very poor without money.
Lord Chaitanya will give different interpretations of the Atmarama verse with these different meanings.
So Lord Chaitanya would give different interpretations of the Atma Rama verse with different meanings. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, text 221.
চ শব্দের সমুচ্চয় অর্থে ব্যাখ্যা। চ শব্দে সমুচ্চয়ে আর অর্থ কয় আত্মারামস্য মুনয়স্য কৃষ্ণেরে ভজয়।
As mentioned above, the word cha can be used to mean aggregate. According to this meaning, all the Atmaramas and Munis engaged in Krishna's service. Besides aggregate, there is another meaning of the word cha. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 24, text 222.
নির্গ্রন্থা হইয়া ইহা অপি নির্ধারণে রামস্য কৃষ্ণস্য যথা বিহরয়ে বনে।
The word nigrantha can be used as an adjective and api can be used in the sense of certainty. For instance, Rama's cha, Krishna's cha means that both Rama and Krishna enjoyed walking in the forest. Purport. Because it is said that both Rama and Krishna enjoy wandering in the forest, it is understood that both of them are enjoying their tour within the forest.
By different combinations of different words, different meanings are produced.
So by different combinations of different words, different meanings are produced.
So, Lord Chaitanya is giving many different interpretations of the same verse based on the combination of words.
So Lord Chaitanya is interpreting many different meanings of the verse based on
different combinations of the words.
Different combinations of the verse
Of the words.
Of the words. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 24, text 223.
চ শব্দের অন্যাচয় অর্থে ব্যাখ্যা। চ শব্দে অন্যাচয়ে অর্থ কহে আর বট বৃক্ষামট গাঞ্চা নয় জইছে প্রকার।
The word cha can also present a secondary thing to be done at the same time. This way of understanding the word cha is called anvachaye. An example is, O brahmachari, go out to collect alms and at the same time bring in the cows.
Lord Chaitanya was known as Nimai Pandit in his youth.
Lord Chaitanya was known as Nimai Pandit in his youth.
And he knew all the details of Sanskrit.
And he knew all the details of Sanskrit.
How to utilize the different words.
How to utilize the different words.
So he came up with meanings that were basically beyond the scope of normal people.
So he came up with meanings that were basically beyond the scope of normal people. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 24, text 224.
এই অর্থে মুনির মুখ্য ভজন আত্মারামের গৌণ ভজন। কৃষ্ণ মননে মুনি কৃষ্ণে সর্বদা ভজয় আত্মারামা অপি ভজে গৌণ অর্থ কয়।
Saintly persons who are always meditating upon Krishna are engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. The Atma Ramas are also engaged in the Lord's service. That is the indirect purport. The anvachaye meaning of the word can indicate cha indicates that between the two words compounded by the word cha, one is given more importance and the other is considered subordinate. For example, O brahmachari, please go out and collect alms and at the same time bring in the cows. In this statement, the collection of alms is of first importance and the second business of collecting the cows is subordinate. Similarly, one who always meditates upon Krishna is mainly a devotee of Krishna engaged in his devotional service. Other Atmaramas are subordinate in devotional service.
All the kinds of Atmaramas meditating on Lord Krishna and engaging in his devotional service is most prominent.
So all kinds of Atmaramas meditating on Krishna and engaging in his devotional service are prominent. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 24, text 225.
চ শব্দের এব অর্থে ও অপি শব্দের গর্হা অর্থে ব্যাখ্যা চ এবার্থে মনয় এব কৃষ্ণেরে ভজয় আত্মা রামা অপি অপি গর্হা অর্থ কয়
The word cha can also be used to indicate the certainty that only saintly persons are engaged in rendering devotional service to Krishna. In the combination Atmarama api is used in the sense of censure.
So the word cha and api bring different meanings to the words Atmarama.
So the word cha and api bring different meanings to the word Atmarama.
So one engages in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So one engages in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
This activity is considered the most important.
And this activity is considered the most important. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila chapter can be taken as an adjective modifying muni and Atmarama. There is another meaning which you may hear from me, indicating association with a devotee. Now I shall explain how it is that through the association of devotees, even a Nirgrantha can become a devotee.
Nirgrantha means, and also mean a poor man.
Nirgrantha can also mean a poor man.
But by associating with a devotee, anyone can attain devotional service.
But by associating with a devotee, anyone can attain devotional service.
So, this is a very important point.
So this is a very important point. Thus ends the chapter entitled Explanation on the meaning of the word Atma and Atmarama is under the section, the 61 explanations of the Atmarama verse.
Do you like our ad-free videos? Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.